Hello and welcome everyone to a very special edition of the Superintendent's Corner. I'm Mick Orfe, host of the MCTS Experience, and I've crossed over for this very special episode of Superintendent's Corner. I'd like to welcome two very special people who happen to be superintendents. One is our incoming superintendent, Matt Carey.
Thanks, Mick. It's really an honor to be here this morning, and thanks for having me on the Superintendent's Corner.
I'm very glad to have you here, and welcome to both Mercer County Technical Schools and Mercer County Special Services.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here, and can't wait for July 1st to get started.
Us neither. And on the subject of superintendents, we want to also welcome our current superintendent, Dr. James Fazzone. Hello, Faz.
Thank you, Mr. Orfe. Always nice to be here.
I want to say we're going to miss you very, very much. It's been wonderful having you both as principal and superintendent for these last 3 years.
It was a fun couple of years, 3 to be exact.
Yes.
But yep, I enjoyed it.
But who's counting?
No one.
No one. I wish it was longer, but we want to welcome Matt Carey, and this is a great time. So let's get to know Matt Carey, Faz.
Exactly.
Would you mind starting? Just tell us a little bit about your educational background.
Sure.
We can get into personal stuff too, if you're comfortable with that.
Absolutely. Go ahead. Let's start with the educational. I grew up in right outside Atlantic City in a town called Linwood, and I graduated from Mainland Regional High School in 1991. After high school, I went directly into the military. I joined the United States Marine Corps active duty. I got to travel the world. What an amazing experience it was. I learned leadership skills, built my character. Really that stick-to-itiveness that you need. And then from there, I used my Montgomery GI Bill. I attended Stockton University. And my initial goal was to go into the field of law enforcement. It made sense to me being, United States Marine Corps and then into law enforcement. So I was studying criminal justice. But at that time, I had 60 credits, and I took a substitute teaching position at Burlington County Special Services and absolutely fell in love with it. And I really knew that that was the direction I was going to go into. But I was so far into my BA already that I decided to just finish it up. So I have a bachelor's in criminal science. And then from there I went to Holy Family University and got a master's in special education and teaching. Student taught at Burlington County Special Services. And then they hired me as a teacher there. So I became a teacher, and it was a wonderful experience. But after a few years of teaching, I decided I wanted to do more. So I went back to Holy Family University again and got a master's in ed leadership. And from there, I got a principal's certificate of eligibility. I moved into a principalship route. I left Burlington County Special Services after 10 wonderful years. And I went to Egg Harbor Township School District and became an assistant principal at the high school. And that's really where my CTE experience came into play. We had a lot of academy-based learning at Egg Harbor Township. And then from there, I decided to go back to school again. But this time, I decided that I was going to go through a state-run program called New Jersey Excel. And that is a preparatory program to become a superintendent. So the first year is you go through the program, you take the test. It's a one-year mentorship where you do 150 hours with an acting superintendent and learn about what it's really like to switch from that building-based level role to a superintendent central office position. And at that time, I took a job as a director of student services, which was a central office position. Once I finished that, I entered into the New Jersey residency program for superintendents. I got my standard certificate and decided to go out and look for superintendent jobs. I am currently the superintendent at Pittsgrove Township School District in Salem County. And again, like I said, I'm really looking forward to the transition into the superintendent here at Mercer County Technical Schools and Special Services School District. I really feel like this is a homecoming for me, having started my career in the county system and coming back to it. And this is really a dream job, and I'm so blessed to be afforded this opportunity to lead these two outstanding districts.
We're very happy to have you. And I want to ask Dr. Fazzone, do you have any tips? Do you have any advice for Matt Carey? Anything you want to tell him about either of the two schools?
Well, I think it's both school districts are great. I think the teachers are prepared every day, and they love teaching in both of the districts. Students enjoy being here. read a study recently that said that successful students have two things in common, and that's an activity at the school they like and an adult they relate to in a positive manner. And I think both districts provide that because the activities are fun, the students love them, and the teachers relate so well to the students. And I think there's also a culture on both campuses, all campuses in both districts, whereby everyone feels a part of what we're doing, feels worth, feels excitement, and teaching and learning just kind of takes place based on that culture and based on that work ethic and based on the excitement that students bring every day.
Love it. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. We're going to get into a little bit about your 100-day plan, but I'd like to ask you some personal stuff first. Sure. I heard a lot of time in Burlington, where Dr. Fazzone is also from.
Yes.
You guys probably have plenty in common.
Yes, yeah, actually, we'll get into the 100-day plan, but I've already transitioned several days with Dr. Fazzone, and we found out that we had a lot in common and a lot of connections throughout New Jersey, having served in multiple counties myself as an educator. You get to know certain people, and we found out that we had a lot in common. Absolutely. And I agree with what Dr. Fazzone said. Those are very important aspects of student success.
Good. I don't want to get too political. Can I ask you your favorite sports teams, football, basketball, baseball?
Sure. Well, football is, there's a little bit of a mix. When I was younger, I was a New York Jets fan. When my mom remarried when I was 11 years old, my stepfather is from Pittsburgh, and he started taking us to Steelers games. So I root for both the Jets and the Steelers. Okay. Steelers are a little bit easier to root for because they win. The Jets never seem to win, but someday.
All right. All right. That was not on the resume, but you're in good company because Fazzone, against all reason, also doesn't root for the Eagles either.
Well, I rooted for the New York Giants since the days of Y.A. Tittle and Frank Gifford when they were playing. So I go back a ways, but my father indoctrinated me. Also to the New York baseball Giants. Willie Mays was my favorite baseball player. So I go back a little bit further, as you can see, than Matt does.
Hard to argue with those sports figures.
Now I will add in that if you want to go to the other three major sports, all Philadelphia teams.
There we go.
Love the Sixers, love the Flyers, love the Phillies.
I could feel it. Yeah. I could feel it. Very good. Okay. Tell us about your family, wife, kids.
Yep, actually I just celebrated my 25th wedding anniversary yesterday. Thank you so much. I've been married to my beautiful wife, Lisa. We met at Stockton in college and have been inseparable ever since. Wow. We have a 16 going on 17 next month. My son, Seamus, will be 17 years old. He is an only child. He's our one and only. And he is a junior in high school.
Outstanding. All right. Any advice? Any advice you want to impart to Mr. Carey?
95% of success is showing up. That's for all of us, I think. We show up. We give it our best shot every single day. This is probably more advice for myself, and maybe for all of us. Treat people fairly, I think that's the recipe for success for everyone.
Dr. Fazzone was very much like that proud parent who came to every basketball game or baseball game. You came to all those events, the movie nights, the special events. We're going to miss that.
Yeah, that's really I think that's the best part of the job. As the superintendent, you have a facet in every single thing that goes on in the school district, and sometimes it can be stressful or you have to make very difficult decisions. Being able to go to those student events and seeing your students shine is really, what brings it all home. It's really why we do this. And talking about showing up every day, talk about the why we show up every day, and the why is for the students. The whole reason that everybody gets up and comes to these facilities every single day is for our amazing students.
Absolutely. Showing up to all those events could indicate that my social life isn't quite, up to par either. But I don't know. I just thought I'd throw that in there.
That's absolutely not true.
May or may not be true.
I have my own warning to issue, and I'm sure you'll attest to this. I can't speak for special services, but here at Mercer County Technical Schools, we have a little something called the SIPEC 10. Any new employee seems to gain 10 pounds from the culinary program and the baking program because they cook such good food.
They do. Yeah. They do. And they announce it too. They announce the rolls are warm right now. The pretzels have just been baked. Please And they make the announcement even more than once, which can torture folk who like to eat like myself.
They somehow pipe the smell through the PA system, and then the
something's
kids.
going on there.
Well, an interesting fact, from my childhood is that I was actually a CT student at Mainland Regional High School. I was in the work-study program, and I worked in hotel restaurant management, and I worked in the restaurant field.
Oh my God.
So I actually came up, and one of the reasons, I talked about my Marine time, the option B, other than going in the military, was to go to culinary school and become a chef. And my best friend, Jeff, who decided to take road B rather than road A like I did, he went into the culinary field, and he's a very successful chef now, actually been on TV a few times. So I'm very familiar, with that aspect of academy. But I agree, the food smells so good, and eating is one of my favorite things to do. So I'll have to be very cognizant.
Yeah, our counselor, very popular counselor, Lance Simic, has a trick. He will take food from the kitchen and put it on the superintendent's desk. So yeah, so we got to be. I just want to make you aware of that.
All right, let's hear about the 100-day plan, Matt.
Sure. Well, a 100-day plan is really a plan that superintendents use as a way to show what they plan on doing to integrate themselves into a school district. This is a little bit more unique because I am the superintendent of 2 school districts who really act as one, being that they're the 2 county schools for Mercer County. So part of that 100-day plan starts before I even begin my job here. Obviously, my contract starts July 1st. Today is June 7th. I've already been in the district 4 times. Today is my 5th time in the district. That's really part of it. And those days, and I really want to thank Dr. Fazzone for these days that we spent together. It started with tours of all the different campuses and the buildings, meeting different stakeholders, attending board meetings, speaking to administration about some of the things that they would like to see in the future moving forward, some of the issues that they're dealing with. So that's really the first part of it, which is the pre-period before you actually start the job, which we're in now.
Right.
Then you get into the job. One of the things that I'm very excited about this, which is different from my first superintendent position, was I'm actually getting to start on July 1st, which is the start of the fiscal year for school districts. So I'm going to get to have that summer, which is what I'm really looking forward to. And that's going to give me an opportunity to really get into the schools, understand our programs, understand what our offerings are, learning about the history of the school districts, what are some of our wants and needs moving into the future, and most importantly, really getting to know the school community. And it's different with a county school because our school community encompasses the entire county of Mercer County. So during those 100 days, I'm going to be working with our 9 school districts that send to us to find out what their historical thoughts on our districts are, what are some of the things that they would like to see us implement, what are some new programs that we can bring in. And then during that 100 days, I'm taking notes, I'm putting together a report. And at the end of those 100 days, really what should happen is I should be fully integrated into both school districts, meaning I know everybody, I know the players, I know the buildings, I know the programs, I know what direction we're going to take ourselves in for the future. And then from that 100-day plan, you develop a long-term plan. Generally, those are 3 to 5 years. And those involve bigger things, new programs, utilizing some of the space that we have open in our districts. At each of the districts, we have an open space right now where we can talk about, bringing in new programs. Looking at some of the programs that we have in place, do they need some updating to become more 21st century learning? And are they academies that are still viable for the workforce of today? And then on the special services side, I think the most important thing is looking at that transition from building to building so our students stay with us throughout their education. With special services, it's a year-to-year thing, meaning that they have an annual review meeting, and sometimes those students will return to their home districts. And that's fine if they have the right programs for them. But we have specialized programs here, and it's important that we articulate through the schools so that our students stay with us all the way up through the age of 21, which in special education, they have that transition program that goes from 18 to 21. So those are things I want to look at as well.
Outstanding. Sounds like a solid plan.
Thanks.
This has been really, really nice. I want to just once again bid a very, very fond
Farewell.
fond farewell, but not goodbye.
Okay.
Just so
Very
long.
good.
Dr. Fazzone, Dr. James Fazzone, thank you for everything you've done for us and for our students in the community.
Well, I enjoyed being here. And we'll see you down the
We
road.
really enjoyed having you, too. Matt Carey, welcome aboard. Looking forward to working with you for a long time.
Thank you, Mick. I really appreciate it.
And on behalf of myself and Matt Carey and Dr. Fazzone, this is Mr. Orfe inviting you all to discover your passion, unlock your future, and please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all of our different social media platforms. Check out that YouTube channel. Share this podcast with a friend, and also check out the MCTS Experience on Google Play, Spotify, and iTunes. Until then, this is Mr. Orfe and Matt Carey and Dr. Fazzone saying,
We'll see you down the road.